Hey guys, I've got such an exciting video for you today. I'm nervous. I'm really nervous. I'm emotional, but I have a really big announcement to share with you. I am launching a new product as part of my luxury accessories line. If you guys have been with me for about a year now, last December I launched my very first product, the MW Wrap, and we sold out like immediately. So thank you guys so much. I've restocked that. That's available on the site. And then this past spring, I came out with a spring shawl. And oh my gosh, I love that piece so much too, because it's so gauzy, and there's linen and there's silk and there's cashmere in it. That is such a luxurious item as well. And I've also launched some jewelry. So anyway, today I am expanding the line. I'm really nervous. I am incredibly proud of this launch. For those of you who don't know, before I started doing YouTube, I was a hand knitwear designer. And so because of that, I was able to work with some of the most amazing yarns. I learned a lot about fibers. I can spin my own yarn, which is painstakingly slow, but spinning is a passion of mine as well. Anyway, because I was a hand knitwear designer, I made connections in the yarn world, in the fiber world, and that led to a lot of amazing connections in Italy. And because of that, I've been able to work with the best Italian mills. And these mills, they don't work with just anyone. And I just feel so fortunate to have these relationships and to have access to these mills. You guys, they are the absolute best. So I worked with one mill to create the wrap and the shawl that I came out with last winter and last spring. And those were two projects that were incredibly fun for me. I got to play with different fibers, different fiber content, the colors, the logo, placement, everything on both the wrap and the shawl. But for this particular launch that we're doing today, I worked with a different mill because I basically went back to the basics for me. I created a knit scarf, and I know that doesn't sound very exciting, but I designed this scarf, every single last stitch. So again, I got to work with an incredible mill in Italy, and these are trade secrets. I'm not allowed to say who else the mill works with, but they work with some of the best and most luxurious fashion houses out there. And again, I feel so fortunate to be able to have these connections with these mills that wouldn't normally work with someone like me, someone who doesn't have a large order, who doesn't already have a name, and who's never done this before. So anyway, without further ado, let me present the Eyelet Scarf. So here is the pile of scarves here. I just wanted to show you that it does come in 5 different colors. So I'm just gonna hold this up so you can see the design in the scarf. And it just runs up and down the entire scarf. The scarf is 16 inches wide by 70 inches long. The fiber composition is 70% wool, 30% cashmere, and I'll get into all of these decisions in a little bit, but I did just want to show you the design on here. So I designed this, and when you work with the mill and you say, I want to make a scarf, they say, great, do you have the design? And what I didn't realize was, and I'm so happy to know this now, when they want the design, they want it in basically in a language that they understand. And when I was a hand knitter, when I created patterns for knitters, we had to create graphs to kind of depict a stitch pattern. So that's what this is called, essentially, is a stitch pattern. And essentially what we created was like a graph, and each box in the graph is a stitch. And so what I didn't realize was these graphs of stitch patterns that we created for hand knitters, I could give that to the mill and they would be able to translate that onto their machines. And I was like, wait, I can just give this to you and you can turn it into a scarf for me. I was like, oh my God. So I created this stitch pattern and I gave it to them and they brought it to life. And I couldn't be more pleased. Because I was a designer for hand knitting versus like mass production, I didn't realize how many similarities there were. I didn't realize that the language that we use and this graphing of the stitch patterns that we do, I didn't realize that this was also used in mass production. I mean, I guess, you know, where did I think it came from in the hand knitting world, or vice versa? But I was just really, really excited when I found that out. So anyway, I have a very good friend that I made through the knitting world, and she is like my liaison to Italy. She's Italian, so she can do a lot of translation for me, etc. She has an office over there. So, I mean, just endlessly, endlessly helpful. And I'm getting emotional thinking about it, but you know, when I was a hand knitwear designer, I never ever thought that I would be able to actually produce my own things. So anyway, this is the pattern that I created, and I'm so proud of it. I love it so much. It has, I call it the Eyelet Scarf because there are eyelets in here. I don't know if you can see my hand through there, but I like how graphic the design is, and I think what's also really cool is it's not 100% reversible, like it's not exactly the same on the back as the front, but it pretty much looks the same. So it is reversible, so when you wear it and you just kind of like wrap it around your neck, you don't have to worry so much about like which side is showing, because there's a design on both sides. It's also mirrored so that halfway here, the stitch pattern changes. So the direction of the stitch pattern changes. So on this side of the half, it's like this, and then, I don't know, do you see that it goes the other way? So that basically when it hangs down, if you wear it like this, the two ends will look the same. They'll be going in the same direction. And I wanted to make sure that that happened as well. I didn't want to just carry the same thing from top to bottom. I really wanted to make sure that the ends were mirrored as well. And there are 5 colors. So this color is natural. Let me just put this on for you. And natural is basically just undyed. It's like a really nice creamy off-white. And it's very neutral. It's not too warm. It's not an off-white that's too like French vanilla ice cream. It is much more neutral than that. Next is light gray. So here we have very basic light gray, and you know, these 5 colors that I picked, I just picked neutrals. Like if I were to walk into a store and see this palette, I would want one of each. Like I wouldn't be able to decide between any of them. I would, you know, just fall in love with every color as much as the next. And that's what I wanted. I wanted something that could go with any of your overcoats. I also wanted to make sure that these were unisex. So another reason why I picked like just more neutral colors, colors that I think work for everyone's taste. So anyway, this is the light gray. And then next we have taupe. And you guys know I needed to have a taupe in here. My favorite eyeshadow color, basically. And again, it's like a light brown, but it's very neutral in tone. Not too cool with any purple in there, not too warm with any kind of like reds or oranges or anything, just really, really neutral. I love this one, and I think this looks so great with black. If you have a black overcoat, gorgeous. And then next we have light camel, and this I felt like we needed as well. I just feel like camel is so perfect for the fall winter time. And because I love this lip color so much, I love this combination, this lip color and camel. So good, so good. Another great color that works really, really well with black, if you have a black coat. But let me hold this up next to the taupe and the light gray. And again, on the website, you'll see like all of the colors laid out next to one another so that you can kind of compare. But here is the light gray. So there's the camel, there's the light gray, so you can see the difference there. And then here is the taupe. So I think the taupe and the camel are probably the closest, but you can see that the camel is brighter than the taupe. So that's those two, but let me throw the gray into the mix just so you can see difference between the 3 there. So taupe, light gray, and then light camel. I love them all. And then last but not least, we have charcoal. And I decided to go with charcoal instead of black because I liked the idea of being able to wear it with a black coat and still having like a monochromatic feel, but having a little bit of contrast. So just a little bit of difference there I just thought would be kind of neat. And with the charcoal, it's a little bit easier to see the pattern versus black. Black, it's like you're looking into a void. It's really hard to see patterning in there, but with just this little bit of white in there, you can see the pattern so much more clearly. So like I mentioned before, the scarf is 16 inches wide, and oh, there's my tag. So the tag is down here on the back left-hand corner, basically. So that's there. And yeah, so this is 16 inches wide and then 70 inches long. So I really like cushy scarves. I don't like ones that feel like a noose. I don't like ones that are like way oversized that, again, like just feel like they're gonna choke you. So I went with 16 inches because when you wrap it around, let's say if you do this, you have enough scarf, and this is important when you live in like a cold climate. It's important to be able to cover your mouth and cover your neck all at the same time. So that's why I wanted it 16 inches wide. I just feel like that's really important. And then 70 inches long, I felt like would accommodate, you know, most heights. And it falls, let's see, it falls basically to my waist down here. Again, you'll see better pictures of it on the website. But I just thought that that was a really good length. I didn't want it too long so that if you like wore a pea coat or something, it stuck out the bottom or there was just too much. Or like I've had really long scarves thinking, oh, like that's so luxurious and chic, just like this really long scarf. And if you're walking around, it ends up getting caught between your legs. It's just a tangled mess. So I didn't want that, but I did want it long enough so that you could wrap it around your neck and then you could, you know, do the whole cross and tuck into your coat. Again, if you live in a cold climate, you know what I'm talking about. So I love the idea of a 16 by 70 inch scarf. I just feel like it's like the perfect size if you want to wear it alone like this, or if you want to wear it like tucked into a coat. Now, if you're someone that does the fold in half thing and you wrap it around and you tuck the ends in through that loop, you can still do that. You have like a little bit left under there. This is also great for underneath a coat when it's like freezing cold out. I'm gonna put the light camel one back on because, like I said, I just love it with this lip color. So like I mentioned before, this is a cashmere blend. It is 70% wool, 30% cashmere, and the 70% wool is a merino wool. Merino wool is the highest grade wool. It is very, very close to cashmere. It is incredibly soft. And I toyed around with the idea of doing like 50-50 wool cashmere or 70-30 cashmere wool, but it was getting like prohibitively expensive and I'm self-funding this project. So I just wasn't comfortable with it and I thought, let me do 70-30. I didn't even feel that much of a difference in the hand. The 70-30 is incredibly soft. And you know, being a hand knitter, I'm a huge fan of wool, and what I love so much about wool is the body that it gives fabric. It just gives fabric more body and coziness and plushness, and it gives it that like squish to it. If this was 100% cashmere, it would be really floppy, really almost sad looking, incredibly soft, but really it wouldn't have this body. You wouldn't get that like hug feeling from the scarf, which is really what I love so much about knits. So that's why I went with 70 wool, 30 cashmere. So these are available on my site right now. I'll leave a link to it down below in my description box. It's bymichelewang.com. So these are available now. I have some colors of my MW wrap left. I have some colors of my MW shawl left. And I have a few bits of my jewelry left. I think just a few of the chains are left. But later on this season, I will be re-upping on the jewelry, like with these earrings. So many of you have been asking me about these earrings. I have been wearing them non-stop. I love them. These are definitely coming soon to the store, so keep an eye out. And before I forget, these are retailing for $390. I am still offering free shipping within the US. Unfortunately, I have to charge for international shipping, but international shipping is available. Thank you guys so much for watching, and thank you guys so much for your support over the years. These projects that I'm doing are 100% self-funded, and I could not have done it without your support. So thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I feel incredibly blessed to be able to bring a dream of mine to life. So thank you so much, and I will see you in my next video.